It's been almost a year in this pandemic, and I could find myself saying,
"Please, God, make this end."
Do we need a lucky charm to schedule a shot in the arm? If you spent the last few weeks fruitlessly searching online for a vaccine appointment, you're not alone. A writer for The Atlantic compares the distribution plan to the lines for cabbage in the old Soviet Union. Who waits in line for cabbage? Because to get an appointment, most are sitting at their computer with several links open, constantly hitting refresh, hoping some appointments will pop up somewhere, sometime before the end of time. And if you're not internet savvy, you're out of luck. Biden blames you-know-who.
My predecessor, be very blunt about it, did not do his job in getting ready for the massive challenge of vaccinating hundreds of millions of Americans. He didn't order enough vaccines. He didn't mobilize enough people to administer the shots. He didn't set up federal vaccine centers where eligible people could go and get their shots.
Forgot that he's president now. The White House says they'll have 600 million vaccines by July. So until then, we keep on clicking. One guy in New York figured out a way to streamline the info from all those websites into one place. He calls it TurboVax, and it's updated constantly. And he built a site for $50. So once again, the private sector builds a better product, which brings us to big government. Remember Joe Biden's commitment to get kids back to school in his first 100 days?
I made a commitment that we try to get K through 8 back to school by the end of this 100 days.
We'll also do everything we can to safely reopen a majority of our K through 8 schools by the end of the first 100 days.
Yeah, well, that commitment has turned into 1 day a week in April.
When President Biden talked for the last couple months, particularly during the transition, about reopening schools within the first 100 days, why didn't he ever mention the small print that that was just going to be for 1 day a week as the goal?
Well, again, the president set a goal of reopening the majority of schools within 100 days. And when you asked what that meant, I answered the question. So that is not the ceiling. That is the bar we're trying to leap over and exceed.
A salamander could leap over that bar. I could walk under that bar. Joe, what do you have to say for yourself?
And now, President Biden on reopening schools.
That's right. Here's my schedule. Monday, go into school. Tuesday to Friday, you stay home, Zumba classes. These kids love Zumba. That ought to save some money right there. $600 or $700 at least. Save your money for shoes. All kinds of shoes. Cashews, Elizabeth shoes. That's right. If the shoe fits, fairy godmother says you can go to the ball. Walk a mile in a man's shoes. I'll make you a judge.
Tyrus, I can't even figure out how to get a vaccine.
I have no clue.
I don't know. We're not important enough.
I don't even know which way to go.
But even people who need it can't get it, right? I guess.
Well, you know, I think it just goes back to, I keep saying to myself over and over again, the adults are in the room. Change is this and that. The only thing we've seen at a high level is executive orders and the complete disappearance of accountability. I get it. Things are more quieter now that we don't have the tweets. But you know, we also don't have any more accountability. Because when someone didn't do their part in the government, President Trump had no problem pointing out who's not doing their job. Now we're back to the shadows. Now we're back to, oh, what we meant was the bar. That's not even like a chalk line on the ground. 1 day a week. I have children. Actually, as many as are sitting. I have a lot. But some go to private school and some go to public school. All my kids in private school are a full day, 5 days a week. And when something happens, they make adjustments. Public school, they're on virtual learning. And virtual learning is brutal because you cannot make a 9-year-old sit in front of a Zoom class with the technological advances that they have today. These kids are clever. One kid literally wrote buffering as his name. So literally, the teacher would be like, oh, it's still loading. And he was off doing his thing. They're that clever. My daughter took a selfie of herself and positioned it in front of the camera like this.
But
and was off playing with Barbie dolls. And I'm
Imagine if no one asked her like what she meant by opening school. She's like, well, going back to school 1 day a week does not mean schools are reopened any more than, you know, seeing your ex once a week at 3 a.m. means you're back together. Yeah. It's like a cheap substitute and a joke.
It's also
completely insane. If no one asked her, she'd be like, yes, we're reopening. That's not reopening.
As a former teacher, it's completely insane because you got 1 day a week. The kids, it's going to be like recess. They're all excited to see each other. Yeah. They're here, and then it's time to go. And you got to make up, and then you got to get them back. It's too much inconsistency for kids. It's fine for them because they have no accountability anymore. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
It's the other administration.
Joe, I don't know if you got the vaccine. My analogy for me is that I'm like Group 9 when boarding a plane. For this vaccine, I'm like in seat 54J.
And that must be hard for you.
It really
You're not used to that.
I'm not used to that. Shut up. Joe, how do you feel about this with the schools? Or?
Well, I think 1 day a week does equal a full week of school in the same world where 2 weeks to flatten the curve is a year.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me it's extremely frustrating because the government does the easy part hard. The hard part was getting the vaccine developed.
Yes.
And the easy part should be getting people to get it, having a clear process for who gets it when. And it doesn't seem to happen like that. And that's what worries me about single-payer universal health care. I think most conservatives are willing to have the conversation that we need to get everyone covered with health care in some fashion. But should it be just the government? Well, then we're going to need more governments because there's got to be some sort of competition because this stinks.
Right, or look at the website, too, like the super confusing, you know, website. This guy can do for $50. It's like, you know, yeah, the government's always the most efficient way to do things.
They could have done that for $50 billion, though.
Right, exactly. I would say, I bet it was, you know.
And then it would jam up.
Yeah, like, they probably spent a lot more than $50 for this bungled
Might have to get a loan from the Nigerians.
They can only, they can make a website for $50 billion that jams up like a 1982 printer. Remember those?
Yeah, that works like it runs off a Commodore 64.
Yes,
or something
exactly.
like that. Yeah, two of the most frightening words: government portal.
Yeah. Government portal. It's like a toilet.
But this is the nature of government and bureaucracy. Bureaucrats and politicians come in and take something that is crystal clear and obvious and make it inefficient and non-functioning. Kids do not transmit, even if they had the virus, do not transmit the virus like adults do. Yeah. They're less likely to get very sick from it. The science says get them in classrooms.